Okay, welcome back to the video. We have got another insane TikTok drama situation for you today. It starts with a TikToker who may or may have not scammed his fans, but he has been involved in some controversy and potentially just a weird situation about being kicked out and his family being involved. Let's get into that right now. The person I'm talking about is Tall Knight. So we start out with this TikToker who's got 1.5 million followers. At first, he doesn't seem like a bad guy. You know, if you've seen his content, he doesn't seem like, his content's pretty funny and pretty wholesome. There's nothing standing out that's super wrong with his content at first. And so we get into this with him posting that he is being kicked out of the place where he's renting a room and that he needs help and that he wouldn't be posting this unless he actually really needed the help. He does actually get the help. He gets about $15,000.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'm shaking. It's been an hour.
From his 1.5 million followers in 1 hour, and it happens very fast and he gets it. He doesn't seem like he's scamming because he does tell his community, hey, stop donating. I don't actually need this much, so please stop donating. If he was scamming, I don't think he would actually say this. I don't think he'd ask for less money. He actually gave a little bit of money back, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think he was trying to scam. I don't think that was his intention. But things continue to get strange when his landlord then posts his own video on the situation.
Later that night, my wife came to, check on them. This is our house, make sure our rules were being followed, and they were being very intimate, displaying very unchristian-like values in my house with my children. He was not homeless, he was not kicked out. He had to leave and the girl could not return, but he paid until March.
And give some reasons why this person was kicked out. He said that the reason why Tall Knight has been kicked out of his living situation. Let me give some background first on who his landlord is. His landlord is his brother-in-law, who he's roommates with. That's some good context. Anyways, the reason that his brother-in-law gives for kicking him out is he was doing unchristlike things in the house where his kids live. Now, the unchristlike things that this landlord is talking about is having sex, essentially. He's getting kicked out of his own place that he's staying for having sex with a girlfriend that he has apparently had a long distance relationship with and had come over. What ends up being the case is he wasn't actually kicked out of his living situation. He was just not getting his lease extended further. So his lease was ending in like a week or two, and it was essentially not going to get extended for any longer, is what it actually was. So he didn't get kicked out, he just wasn't getting to stay in that house, essentially. But then in Tall Knight's Discord, he explains the situation that led up to this pretty outright. So apparently his sister had walked in on him and his girlfriend, made somewhat of a big deal out of it, and decided to have him kicked out. Now, Tall Knight then goes to explain that his landlord and his sister, essentially, they're married. They ironically seem to have interactions themselves in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. So there is some irony there, and it seems like the only reason why he got in trouble was because he was doing it premaritally. So if you couldn't tell already, his landlord and his sister are very religious. Tall Knight is also religious. We'll get to that later, but obviously not to the same level as his sister and her husband is. He also got kicked out of his church. Oh, I forgot this whole thing that happened. The reason why his sister ended up walking in on him on accident is because his sister needs to be escorted to, this gets crazy. His sister needs to get escorted to their parents' house, I think. It's not important where, but she needs to get escorted because she's not allowed to be around her kids, her own kids, or any kids for that matter. And so you might be asking me, why can't she be around kids? Well, it's because there was an incident. The incident being, here's the fucking article, by the way. She accidentally swaddled a baby. She was working in a daycare, right? She works in a daycare. She accidentally swaddled a baby so tightly that she almost suffocated it. It went into a coma and was in the hospital for several weeks. How the fuck does that even happen? It's super sad, horrible situation. And anyways, that's why she can't be alone with her own kids. So that doesn't really have a lot to do with anything, but that's the reason why she walked in on him. And the kid did eventually recover, luckily, and all that, but it's still a weird situation. Also, apparently the sister no longer is on speaking terms with her brother and other sister because the brother voted Democrat and she's diehard conservative, and she doesn't speak to her sister anymore because her sister is gay. So you can tell what kind of extreme religion these people are in, essentially. how dedicated they are to their religion. I'll just leave it at that. Now we get to the transgressions of Tall Knight himself. At this point, he ends up insulting and misgendering a trans person. His audience does not like that, obviously, and he gets backlash for that. To which he responds with a pretty meager apology. It's not a very good apology. He kind of still insults them in the apology, but things get even, things continue to get worse from there. This part actually isn't that bad. It's strange and it's weird, and there is things that he did wrong in this situation, but this guy, Tall Knight, doxes a pedophile, finds his address, and shows up at his house. He got some backlash because he was doxing this person and using his audience, weaponizing his audience against this person. But then again, this dude's a pedophile. So anyways, he shows up to this guy's house and he gets cops called on him essentially. But the cops kind of are aware that this guy whose house that he went to is a pedophile. So they don't arrest him. They kind of just let him go. And then things get even worse. How do things get worse? Let me tell you. All Knight's TikTok is deleted. It's gone. Do you want to know why? It's sort of an ironic situation. He has been accused of grooming and being a pedophile himself. Yes, you heard me right. It's a super ironic and a sad situation. We'll get into this a little bit more. So it starts with him interacting with his fans, who are largely a younger audience, 15, 16, those sort of things. He defends himself by saying he's only 19, so he's only a couple years older than them. But the way that he responds to them is to them asking about his erotic content that he makes. And yes, he does make erotic content. So there's that. He makes erotic content and then is promoting it, or at least acknowledging the excitement from his young audience about his porn, essentially. Super fucked up, super weird. Another horrible situation involving minors with this guy, and not good. And not only is it not good, but he also posts some videos and pictures to his Patreon, which does not have a age restriction on it. So children, his young audience, is able to get access to his nudes and videos and explicit content without even entering their age. It's pretty messed up. Really a bad move on his part. He then states that he claims it was a lie, but I doubt that. There's evidence against him. And he is making an OnlyFans, and I believe he already has made an OnlyFans with explicit content. So he fully intentionally was going to put that content on Patreon, but says that he didn't. Either way, he intended on doing it, and it's pretty fucked up. The responding to the minors about being excited for his explicit content, the most damning evidence, because it's pretty well out there that he has done this. There's multiple instances of this happening. And then he starts to ask for money again, because obviously he's starting to run out, because his fame is sort of wavering because of these accusations. He was mentioned recently in one of Charlie or Penguin Z0 or Moist Critical, same guy. He was mentioned in his stream, and they got to talking about him a little bit. Tall Knight, essentially, let's put it this way. He puts the fate of his online presence in the hands of Penguin Z0, of Charlie. Right? He says if he makes a video about him and he sides with him, then he is sticking around. And if he makes a video about him and clowns on him and says that he's the bad guy, then he is quitting and giving up and hanging up his cape.
If he looks into this, he hears their argument and he hears my side, and if he says, buddy, you're wrong about this, it's time.
So there is that. It's a pretty insane situation. I don't even know what to say. There's so much going on. There's so many layers to this. It's insane. And at this point, I'm just waiting to see what Charlie says. I'm waiting to see that video, and I'm waiting to see Tall Knight's response, to see if he actually does, to see if he actually sticks by his word, or if he lies and sticks around despite the video. Because I'm sure the video is going to be negative on the part of Tall Knight, but there's only one way to see. We're going to wait for that video, and we'll go from there. But that's pretty much the situation. Thank you guys so much for watching. I didn't expect to be doing this much TikTok drama content, but there is so much and so much happening in real time, and it's pretty entertaining to follow all this crazy shit. So I appreciate you guys watching this stuff, and stick around. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think the video is going to be like that Charlie posts? I think he's going to post a video. He hasn't said he's going to. He hasn't posted one as of this video yet, so we'll see. All right.